When we are understanding the nature of thoughts and emotions, we should take a special care where the understanding of thoughts and emotions should not create more thoughts and more emotions, or should not create unnecessary thoughts and unnecessary emotions. That is more nicer way to present it, because thoughts and emotions are part and parcel of our life. It's required. What is the nature of thoughts and emotions has to be explained so that the perceiver who listens it will be able to establish a neutral state about it. Neutral state in the sense, you will not have a kind of resistance when you are feeling emotions to express, or you are very loose in emotions, or you don't have any control on your emotions at all. In the same way about thoughts also, there is no hesitation to think also, and there is a wisdom which guides you to think about what. So to align the self-expression of life to this middle path, from this angle we will try to analyze the nature of thoughts and emotions. When life is considered as life, it has two dimensions of life is there. One dimension of life which manifests as per your imprints, as per the imprints of the past. A way of manifestation is there as per the imprints of the past. At the same way, another way of manifestation of life is there where there is no question of past or future, or it's a kind of unconditional manifestation of life. That is the pure form of wisdom-oriented manifestation of life. The wisdom-oriented means the pure manifestation of consciousness into nature. If we read the classical texts, if you understand and experience that dimension of that expression, we will have a pure state of consciousness. In that pure state of consciousness is so crystal clear that nature just reflects in it. Nobody is sitting inside you to say something. Nobody means your own ego, your own imprints, your own past, your own prejudices, your own expectations. Any kind of such conditional interference will not be there when you are expressing your life. That pure form of life where there will be no a kind of unnecessary emotions, unnecessary thoughts, nothing. It's like a pleasant state of perfect alignment of thoughts and emotions into the life expression, because thoughts and emotions are tools of life. You are not a rock not to have any emotions. At the same time, that emotions should be guided by the qualities of the consciousness. That emotions should represent the state of egoless. That emotion should manifest the real state of your true self. So when such manifestation of life happens, that gives a decorative concept of a kind of decoration. No? It is an added ingredient for the spice of life, which the thoughts and emotions. At the same time, the same thoughts and emotions, if they are getting triggered or if they are getting oriented towards the egoistic expression of life, I wanted something out of life which I am not getting, that's why I am emotional. I am too much disturbed in life, that's why I am thinking a lot, so that I have a kind of illusion in my mind state. By thinking a lot, I can solve something. By thinking a lot, I can conclude something. By thinking a lot, I can reach somewhere. So such a kind of ignorant way of handling the chitta. Chitta means mind. An ignorant way of handling the mind makes you to think a lot. Actually, people normally end up thinking a lot about something which they don't have control on it. That something else has to be done by somebody else. Let's say, for example, people may be watching now from Netherlands. It may be very cold there, or tomorrow may also be already declared it is very cold. If you are getting worried that tomorrow it will be very cold, what do you get out of it? You may be having a lot of thoughts about it, but it will not help because the situation is not in your control. Thoughts should be aligned between two things. One is planning. When you are planning, you need thoughts. Planning are the things what you can do. If your thoughts are getting aligned to possibility of your life expression by you, then it is a nice alignment. Then it is a planning. Then it is a practically needed expression in the nature. At the same time, if you are thinking on the things which you don't have control, then somewhere you have to check, am I having a conditional state of mind where it is habitual to think? Because by thinking, you lose a lot of energy. 80% of the energy is spent towards the thoughts. Mind is always running. So when we compare the physical to the physical state, it can be compared to the running. Running means what? Body runs ahead. Thought means what? It runs to future. So that strains a lot of people. More than 80% of the energy is spent on thinking. And on average, a human being has around 60,000 thoughts per day, which is a lot. Whereas something around 300, 400, and an average life is more than enough per day. See the huge gap. So when you are able to save that energy, it has a direct consequence of the quality of life. The direct consequence in the sense, suddenly you begin to feel you get a lot of space in your life. Where the space was continuously occupied by your thoughts, suddenly a space where your true self can be expressed. Why that space you get is for the true self? Because always a thought is about something else which is not you. Always. You take example of any thought, each and every thought is always about something else. Imagine in your life, what imagine? It's a fact also. Throughout the day, you are having an average of 60,000 thoughts, and always you are expressing something else through you. That means you fail to live your own life. You should be very miserly in thinking. Miserly in thinking means you should know where to use that power of thinking. It's an extraordinary power what all of us have. It's an extraordinary gift. That too, a gift which not so much so other living things has. It's very few living beings has such an intense thinking process. That too, when it comes to the humans, like how many sounds we can produce in the mouth. We have such a evolved language ability. In the same way, we have such a cognitive skill oriented thoughts, which is a very powerful methodology of expressing life. If you are organizing it to align for the self-expression, it's a beautiful gift, or else your own thoughts, your own emotions consumes your own life. So there we need to be very careful. In that way we can balance the thoughts and emotions, considering the angle of imprint, considering the angle of pure manifestation of true self. Are you getting the point what I am trying to? If you have any questions about this, you can ask, or else we can go to next question. When we understand this question, it's nothing but the choice what I am making to express my life. Here, why people have so many thoughts? Mainly because a strong pattern is created in the way of life expression, where they are continuously fed constantly by education, by parents, the job what you do, by the society. Everywhere you are fed that you have to do something. You have to do something, then only you will reach somewhere. See, this doing concept is consuming the life. See, there are two concepts of life. One is being concept and doing concept. This can be very much studied even when you compare between the Eastern and Western mind. When I travel to different countries where in the so-called developed countries, where the measurement of development is by roads, by the way they handle their traffic, by the comforts they have. So if that is the measurement, it always, the direction what civilization process has taken is too many thinking people are there in that society. Because it's a strong program. Constantly I had to be behind the logics, behind the reasons. I had to dissect something, I had to organize something. Then only I will be able to successful in life. Because wherever the doing concepts is associated with the effort, thoughts comes. At the same time, we have to do something in life, of course, we have to act. At the same time, when the doing concept is associated with effortless. See, when we consider the state of mind, here we need to understand why so many thoughts comes. It's mainly because when we understand the state of the mind is free. See, to some extent, state of the body can be questioned. Somebody can tie you with the rope, somebody can lock you in a room, somebody may not feed you. So the freedom state of the body can be restricted. We are all representing at least this civilized society where we are all granted with that freedom. I don't think anybody is here, I am very hungry, I don't have food for 2-3 days. Every day somebody ties me in the rope, restricts me. So no such, we are all civilized. Of course that situation was there few hundred years ago, but now that physical dimension of freedom is there for all of us. Next comes the question of mental dimension of freedom. And what we should know is we are all lucky enough in this creation. Mentally we are all born freedom state. It's our own responsibility to feel. If we are suffering, tensing, worrying, stressing, being in sad, it's our own choice. Nobody else is making you to suffer. None of us can claim that somebody else is causing me pain. It's our own pure choice. Since the mind is having that freedom state, mind in the actions need not be in effort. See, there is a thing, action we all have to do. We all have to work in office, walk in the streets, like all the functionalities of the day-to-day life we all have to do. Actions we have to do. At the same time, why we need to be in a effort state in the mind to do actions? When you are understanding the language of effortless state of the mind, constantly you can make a self-reflection in your actions. Why I am stressed? Why I am thinking so much? Because I have learned something I have to do in life. See, something we all have to do, but it has a border. Something I have to do means what I can do. I cannot jump to sky. I cannot hold moon in my hand. I cannot hold sun in my hand. There is a limitation for what I do. So we need to understand that border. In the same way, having such limitations is nice. So in life, to feel that niceness, to feel that pleasantness, to feel that contentment in being who you are, in being what you know. So when that contentment, that pleasantness guides you in your actions, automatically the mind becomes less thoughts or begins to think what needed. Or else constantly is like chasing a rat which you cannot catch it. Constantly you are bothered by effort state. Another dimension of, because I give different dimensions to resolve that unwanted thought process, you sit quiet and recall your own life. Let's say, for example, 1 week before, about something you had a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of thoughts. See, even you may have millions of thoughts. In the end, when it comes to the manifesting part, only two options are there. It will happen or it will not happen. For two options, you have searching for millions of options. So that comparison you should know. What I am searching is only this or that. For this or that, I am trying to bring millions of options in my mind. There is no millions of options. Always what happens is one thing at a time. So understanding of this makes you to understand why I think unnecessary when life is so simple. Life is simple. Complexity I create through my thoughts mainly because it is just my identification. If life is simple, I will not feel myself. This is another dimension of having too many thoughts. If life is simple, you lose your identity. Because your identity you have built through the complexities of your logics, reasons, which is indicated by unwanted thought process. If you are pleasant, if you are contented, if you are ready to face anything in life, because when it comes to the question of ready to face anything means you have to face. There is no question of escaping. See, where is the question of escaping? You have to breathe, you have to walk, you have to be in the sunlight. In the same way, whatever the consequence comes from any person or any incident, whether it is in the job or in the relationship, any fact, you have to face it. There is no question of escaping. So when there is no question of escaping, of course, in what best possible way I can express my life, you will just dig for some permutations and combinations, then rest your mind. Take life easy, smooth, simple. Don't take life always I can do something with it. No. You can do something only up to a limited. So you should know your limitations. You should know what is fact. You should know the purpose of life. You should know for what you are born. You should know whatever the effort I do, what will be the fact, and also you should know what is your freedom, what is the freedom of the other. So by understanding of all this as a consequence of totality of knowing the life, thought process comes to a simplicity. If you have too much thought, it indicates the complexity of life. So from this angle, by analyzing different dimensions of mind state, you can reduce the thoughts. It's a total understanding, like why a flower has a fragrance. A particular flower will have a particular fragrance because the content of the flower is like that. In the same way, particular person has particular way of expressing the thoughts because the content of the person is like that. So by what are all the content, what are all the understanding about life, when you understand that in totality, as per that manifestation of life happens. So in that way you can organize your thoughts. Another question is there, how to deal with the situation when there is a conflict. This question is from Asia, from Netherlands. How to deal with the situation when there is a conflict. Here, the first thing what we need to understand is, as a mountain is natural, a tree is natural, a sun is natural, a conflict is also natural. Because we all live in this creation which is always changing. Without conflict, nobody can grow. Even humans, if you consider the whole evolution of the civilization process, since the conflict came, now for example we may see there is beautiful houses around us. Initially, primordially, when man was living by hunting in the forest, first they started on the tree, then they faced some conflicts by animals, by environment, they went to the caves, then they had huts, then they begin to construct different form of houses. See, through conflicts they grow. Always conflicts makes you to grow. Conflicts evolves a civilization, conflicts evolves a mind. That is one dimension of looking at conflicts. Another dimension of looking at conflicts is, there is no conflicts. In this existence, there is no conflicts. Conflicts are created in your own mind. What is fact, it turns into a conflict because you are converting it as a conflict in your mind. Whereas it's just a happening. Why you convert into a conflict is mainly because somewhere you have a resistance to accept what is. Whatever it may be, first you have to accept what is. This unconditional acceptance brings to a state where you will be beginning to look what you call as conflict from a different angle. Then conflict becomes a situation. You will be dealing with the situation. See, the conflict becomes a situation. You will be dealing with the situation. The moment a conflict to a situation to a dealing, if you are able to hop at the mind state, you will be hopping towards witnessing. Pure witness. When you begin to witness, that gives a kind of balanced approach towards dealing the situation. Languagically, you may call it as a conflict or unexpected situation or unwanted happening. How you have to deal is you are the most important person, meaning you should not lose your self-expression. Meaning losing the self-expression means losing the state of presence. If you lose the state of presence, it's equal to losing life. Any conflicts should create life in you. Any conflict should make you to act wisely. Any conflict should feed you with energy. Any conflict should make you to blossom with wisdom. Any conflict should create an opportunity to see who you are, to reflect who you are. So then you will have a matured approach while dealing with the situation, what you may call as a conflict. Are you understanding what I am trying to explain? Here the question is, the moment a situation becomes conflict, it's another dimension of understanding life. The moment a situation becomes conflict, very clearly it indicates you are not harmonized with the creation. Disharmony. Whereas yoga is union, yoga is harmony. Harmony means what? To be with what is. That's how when you swim, you should be with what is. You cannot behave as you are behaving on the street when you are in the pool. You are in the pool, you become light, you begin to float, you lose all your holdings, you cannot hold the water tight. So you will have a different approach how you align with the pool and how you align on the street. How you align when you are running, how you align when you are swimming. It has a two different dimension, means harmonizing. So in the same way, once your inner wisdom shines, a continuous harmony goes on happening. How a continuous harmony can go on happening? Just you be ready to be nothing. You ready to be nothing and be everything. You should have a full range of possibility. Out of that, so colorful is your life, so vibrant you are, you have a capacity to harmonize with whatever may be the happening. So you are a full range, complete person. So when you have that totality built up inside, as a representation of that, ability to deal with the conflict will arise in you, which evolves you, which at the same time which resolves the conflict. And another dimension what we need to understand when we are resolving the conflict is, this is a deeper spiritual dimension of understanding the conflict is, the nature has sun, moon, ocean, wind, It is full of love, full of affection, full of care. This whole creation is in bliss, is in love, is in peace, is in such a vibrant positiveness. And why it is bringing conflict to you? Why a mother controls a child? Like normally a common saying is there in English. When a child asks, "Mummy, mummy, may I go to swim?" How mother answers, "Yes, my darling daughter, but don't go near water." No? That's how mother care. Because mother fears the baby is too small to enter the pool. My baby, I may lose such a care, but at the same time don't want to restrict. In the same way, the creation brings conflicts for its babies to evolve. Without conflict, there is no evolution possible. Even in the present day world, for example, even though it is one of the ugliest conflicts, if you see at the present world, who fought aggressively Second World War, they are developed now. You see any country who fought aggressively, the whole nation was completely destroyed, bombed, millions of people were killed, but they rose up because they faced conflicts. If you see where the conflicts could not happen to that dimension in the civilization process, those countries become underdeveloped or still developing. Because the conflicts make them to work hard, conflict make them to stand for the nation, conflict pushed them towards, of course, towards the becoming process where they expressed at least their life. So that conflict bring them to the developed state or economically, if you want to call it as in that dimension. But at the same time, the inner conflict always makes you to evolve emotionally, always makes you to evolve in decision making, always makes you to evolve to know who you are. That's why a conflict is a gift in a way to evolve. When a boss insults you or your colleague sexually harasses you in your work field, the first and foremost thing what we need to understand is, of course, it's a day-to-day conflict in life. Here, conflict is happening to you from the outside. Conflict is happening to you from the outside, but your inside is not bothered by the conflict. First, now comes the question whether I react or act. See, in life, when you are doing actions, two dimensions of expression is there. You can react or you can act. So when you are reacting, you get panic, you get stressed, you get very sad. Instead of that, when you are acting, you will become conscious choice. Suppose if you are facing any such situations, what actions I can do? If my boss is not treating me well or unwanted things is happening with my colleague, what are the channels to solve it? Right from quitting the job, right from to complaining to the next boss, right from talking directly to the boss or talking to your colleagues, like there are many solution possibilities there. So if there is no solution possibility, then comes your own acceptability. To what extent I can accept or what extent I don't accept. If I don't accept, I quit. Even you can think of taking legal actions. It's all comes by making a conscious choice where I would like to stand in life, as what. So make it a conscious choice. What is life for you based on that? And stay not disturbed inside, and in your day-to-day life trying to resolve the issues through actions, not by reactions. Because if you are trying to solve it, or if you are trying to deal with the situation, action also brings the same result, and the reaction also brings the same result, if at all. Suppose if your boss is very much dominating on you, he will have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. So you are purely in action. See, the advantage is when you are in action, you are in calm. So when you are in calm, many options arises. When you lose the calmness, suddenly you are in the web of a confinement. That is reaction. So in the reaction mode, your life becomes a limited way of possibilities, manifestation. So instead of that, you should align to the action mode. When you are in action mode, what best possible? Always in day-to-day life, when such situation comes, think for a while, what is the best possible expression? While bringing out that best possible expression, what you have to do is align to your wisdom, align to the calmness. So what comes out of that, you can act. Sat means truth. Sang means to be with the truth. Sat Sang means to be with the truth. How you can assure you that you are with the truth is by being with something, your conditions are removed. Your holdings are released out. Your limitations are broken. Your boundaries becomes infinite. Wherever an expansion is happening, wherever you are getting expanded, not only in one dimension, meaning your understanding of life is growing, your holdings you are releasing, you are becoming more healthier and healthier, like depending on with what you are associating. When you are associating with Sat, means when you are associating with the truth, always it comes with the consequence of bringing you more happiness, bringing you more contentment, bringing you more calmness, bringing you more relaxation, bringing you more healthy state. In life, if that is happening, then you are with satsang. Satsang means, now we call this session as satsang. It's a symbolic representation of satsang. In a way, the whole life journey itself is satsang. Even if you talk to any persons who has undergone, let's say, a quite experience in life, 60 years, 65 years, 70 years, when you speak to them, sometimes you will hear a very interesting explanations from them, where you will feel, yes, they understood something truth about, maybe about some matter or about a particularity, but yet you will know they are able to get rid of something in their life. So if you are a very angry person, see, many times it happens, people will be angry at their 20s, at their 30s, at their 40s. When 50 begins to happen, somewhere they begin to slow down. When it comes to the 60, then they begin to question, oh, all my children left me, my neighbors not liking me, like this. Oh, because I am an angry person, because I am a tensed person, I am a worried person, I should not be like this. A realization comes about their own anger, mainly because the life experiences has put them with satsang. Satsang means through experience they are growing. What is the speciality of this satsang is, in life there are two ways to grow. One is experiential way. You will be experiencing life and trying to grow in life. You do many actions, you are interacting with many persons, you are in different relationships, you are in different jobs. Like that, you through experience based, you are trying to grow in life. That is one way of satsang. Satsang means satsang of your own imprint, satsang of your own karma. Another way is there, that sat itself is there, the real self is there. See, by aligning to that, you are growing. Aligning to that formless, shapeless, being simple. Aligning to that bliss, getting rid of all your sadness and unhappy holdings in you. By aligning to your true self, also you can grow. So that is the beauty of yoga practice. You can grow by experience, which is nothing but the evolution process. At the same time, you can grow by aligning to your true self. So that is the direct impact of meditation. If you, let's say for example, I have seen some persons have a psychological attitude where they buy a lot of things. They buy a lot of things. Even if they go to supermarket, they enter having an intention to buy one or two things, but they come up with 2-3 full baskets of things what they brought. And even if you look at their attitude, they want to buy more dresses for them, they want to be always surrounded by with things. Like that, purchasing attitude, more and more buying orientation, shopping complex will be there with them. Let's say for example, they have this way of making a journey in the experiential field or the evolution outside nature field. How this attitude can be corrected? See, in the end, why they are buying? They buy to feel the contentment, to feel that satisfaction of owning something. Now they sit for meditation where they cannot shop, yet they will begin to shop in the mind. They begin, every thought is in a way shopping. No? People do the shopping. Oh, I am like this, I want that. See, most of the thoughts are shopping. Now, stop shopping with the creation. I have sunlight, I am in sun. There is no sunlight, there is no sunlight. Don't try to shop. Oh, tomorrow please come sun. It won't work. You cannot shop with the creation. You have to live with the creation. In meditation, you are learning the language of living. That is meditation. Always, many wrong things have happened in the field of meditation. That is the most misunderstood concept is meditation. People think I have to imagine some color, I have to repeatedly chant something, I have to breathe fast. So they try to reach the state of meditation by some particularities or by through repetitions or by any confinement of mind. No. Meditation is unconditional, awareful presence with what is. What is, it's totally acceptable to me. And what is me only. Because what is life? What we need to understand about what is life is actually all inclusive. Imagine a situation. Now I pronounce a word star. The moment I tell a star, in your life, sky comes. In your life, the shining of the star comes. In your life, that white light comes in the picture. So, being a star somewhere in the sky has created your life of being a star in the sky. So, imagine a situation, no matter exists at all. There is no stars, there is no plant, there is no animals, no other persons, only you are there. There will be no life. Even there is no floor, nothing. Life is not there. Actually, life means all inclusive. A star is also your life, a moon is your life, a sun is your life, the animals, plants, everything together creates life. So this ability to express your presence in this all-inclusive state is life. That is meditation. Meditation is nothing but just to be alive. Just to be alive. Just to be alive means you are everything. Because through you, every manifestation is happening. Through everything, you are manifesting. See the completeness, beauty of life. Through you, everything is manifesting. Through everything, you are manifesting, because you and everything and you are same. So this state of expression of life without any boundary, without any prejudice, without any holding, without any border, without any limitation, that is the state of meditation. That is the state of presence. That's why Patanjali brings, when you practice for the posture, he brings the dimension of Ananta Samapattibhyam. See, normally, when people are practicing postures, they appear to practice postures. In the end, very few people practice postures. Very few people practice postures in its real sense. In the sense of Patanjali, in the sense of yoga, in the sense of taking into control the evolution process, in the sense of Ashuddhikshaya, in the sense of Jnanadipti. Ashuddhikshaya means decreasing the impurity. In the sense of Jnanadipti means to make your wisdom grow. In that dimension, very few people practice posture. Mainly because when they are practicing posture, they are moving into the dimension of particularity. My hand was here, it is here. My head was up, it can reach the knee. I did this posture, I am doing the next posture. Like this, from one particularity to another particularity, in the name of series, in the name of other things, just they are, as an habit, they are doing the practice of posture. Even many schools, unfortunately, encourage, just it pushes you from postures to posture, from series to series, target to target, from a kind of self-torturing is called as posture. Always one thing you need to know in life is, when Patanjali spoke about posture, when Upanishads indicated postures, it's all about to establish your beingness, not the doingness. To establish your presence, not to trigger a becoming process, not to push you towards a target, because you are your true self is life. Your true self is beingness itself. Your true self is all inclusive. Your true self is every bit of this creation. That's what Shankara tells by telling Aham Brahmasmi. This state should be happening in the practice of posture, or else you should move towards this dimension of practice of posture, what Patanjali brings as Ananta Samapattibhyam. Ananta Samapattibhyam means when you are expressing a posture, in fact you are bringing an infinite dimension. Why the posture has to be practiced is, when we look at the life energy, it's infinite. There is no shape, form, color or limit to life energy. When we look at the mind, it's infinite. When you look at the wisdom, infinite. When you look at the soul, infinite. Only one and only finite thing is body. And how you going to feel this finiteness? Without this finiteness, an infinite cannot be experienced. See, without the body, you cannot experience the infiniteness, because an infinite, to feel its infiniteness, it has to become finite. Because self-reflection happens. A tree is there, you are there, an animal is there, different finite things are there. Because somewhere a finiteness is required to manifest. That is the manifestation, that is the nature. So beyond the body, prana is infinite, mind is infinite, wisdom is infinite, soul is infinite, everything is infinite. Then comes the question, how I can make this body infinite? Body can be made infinite by dissolving the effort. Because wherever effort is created, there the finite is created. See, I have this body. Wherever I feel effort, there I feel the body. If I am pressing this, there I feel the body. That is the finiteness of my physicality. The finiteness of the physicality is reflected at the dimension of effort. That's why Patanjali brings Prayatna Shaitilya, cessation of effort. When cessation of effort happens, Ananta Samapatti happens. That Dvandva means duality, abhigatam means removed, dissolved. So, sthiram sukham, stable and comfort, having no effort in your expression. When there is no effort, there is no limit, no border, no duality, oneness, then even your physical form takes the infinite form. Are you practicing in this dimension of posture? Are you practicing to bring this borderless state of expression, or you are jumping from posture to posture, you are just triggering some effort in you? Even many times people are pushed where to say sorry to this statement, where it cannot be called as yoga practice itself. One thing you need to understand in life, where effortless happens, there only evolution happens. Where effort happens, there devolution happens, whatever it may be. Because wherever effort is there, freedom is cursed. Without cutting off the freedom, there cannot be effort. For example, even if you are pressing the floor, your freedom is restricted. Here, to evolve means to be free, to move away from any kind of influence. Even in some classes, they may ask you to do oceanic breathing heavily, Ujjayi breathing heavily, and they try to trigger some breathing in the throat. All these are all masalas added just to entertain you, just to make you are doing something. Because or else you may feel bored. See, if a person is sitting like this, how long a person can sit like this? Instead of that, make that person do like this, they will sit long. Because they are entering some doing thing. So that is why, just to entertain you, just to push you, just to fool you, such a kinds of artificial effort is incorporated in teaching methodologies. Because by creating Ujjayi breathing, you will be damaging a very sensitive part of yourself. When you are always, you should constantly approach, if I am creating a effort, it is to dissolve the effort. Why I am practicing a posture? Because I will reach a state where I will not feel the posture anymore. Because I am effortless. Posture is not to do the posture. Posture is to drop the posture. When you can drop the posture, when your physicality becomes the infinite dimension. So that indicates you are able to drop the posture. So this evolutionary path, when you are able to trace in the practice of posture, then you are practicing posture. When this physicality barrier or differentiation or separation is broken, then in the process of practice, you are perceiving this breaking of border. So when you are perceiving this breaking of border, it's a direct perception of your own freedom. When it is the direct perception of your own freedom, it is a beautiful process to construct your self-expression. When the self-expression is constructed, that is the construction of a yogic way of life. So in that dimension, you have to look at your physical practice. Ambition, there is nothing wrong in ambition itself. Because many times, for example, if you have an ambition to realize, it's good. Always, ambition gives a kind of motivation to reach anywhere. So here, from what field this ambition you are handling, that is important, because what ambition is happening to you is for what it is happening. When you are handling the ambition, whether it is inputting the energy to you, whether it is triggering your prana, whether it is making you more enthusiastic and energetic, so you went for that ambition. Now comes the question, consequence of that. Here, when you are handling the ambitions, whether it is creating the space for self-expression or it is taking the space of self-expression. So from that angle, you need to handle the ambitions. And also, ambitions, if it is not fulfilled, what is your state? That is also very important. Let's say you had an ambition to get a very good job. You went to an interview with the company based on their invitation letter for the interview. You passed 7 levels of interview. That was the final state. You could not pass in the interview. You are coming out of the room by failing in the interview at the last stage, where you had a lot of ambitions. So if I get the job, I get a nice salary, I will buy a car, I will buy a home. So already you made a pre-decision, and you went, and when you are coming back, all your ambitions are lost. How you are then? Are you equally happy person? Then having an ambition is nothing wrong, because having an ambition made you to prepare for the interview. Having an ambition brought some zeal, brought some activeness to your life. But attached to the ambition, let's say for example, when you are coming out of the interview, you are suffering, you are crying, you are worried, you begin to fear what will happen to my life tomorrow. So I cannot have car, I cannot travel in bus, I cannot travel in train. Like this, if you attach the result to the consequence of your life, then you have to get rid of it. So in a way, you should look at the ambitions, whether they are nourishing your manifestation of true self or they are restricting your own manifestation of life. Another question is there, how to react to the situation not immediately but calmly. How to react to the situation not immediately but calmly. See, first of all, you should drop the idea that I should react. You should act. First, you should act. So, when you are able to bifurcate that, calmness comes. And immediately, how I should not react, that comes by understanding my immediate reaction. The question of this immediate or impatience, where it is generating, is mainly because about your own history of life, you have strong objection in the way it's happened. See, in life, things may not be happening as per your expectations. Your own history of life may not be aligning the way you are expecting now. So the whole history has an effect on you. Somebody has shouted at you, some suffering has happened in your path. So being the product of that pain and suffering, you are encountering a present situation. Then immediately, like, you are triggered by your emotions, negative emotions, you are triggered by the impact of the past of your own life. So when you are able to view your life in its pure presence, then you are automatically, you should be fresh. See, freshness and calmness both are same. So when you are not fresh, basically you are not energetic. When you are not fresh, basically it indicates you are influenced by your own past way of life. When you are not fresh, already you are triggered with lot of objections. So then only an immediate reaction comes. Or else you are fresh, alive, you are okay with whatever might have happened in your past till now, and you are looking at the situation with freshness. At the same time, whatever is happened is okay with you, means you have got a wisdom. Here you have an experience. So how you are using your experience constructively, so that has to be used. When you are trying to use your experience destructively, then immediately you will react. So when you are using your experience constructively, you will begin to act. So in that way, when you are looking at life to construct life in a positive way, you can use your experience. So then there is no question of sudden rush or immediate reaction. So value, whatever it might be, value the life. See, many things might not have happened as you wanted, but it's life. Just value the life as it is and be the product of what is. Value the life as it is, be the product of what is, interact with the situation with the wisdom of who you are. So as a product of that, a calmness will come when you are dealing with the situation. how to get rid of the feeling of always needing to do from Yoda. Again, it is an understanding that in what way I am trying to feel life. See, it is a strong program which has happened to the mind to feel life. Always I need to do something. See, if you are sitting here, you feel, oh, I am not feeling life. I had to walk, I had to see a tree, I had to see a bird, I had to see a mountain, I had to see some people, I had to talk, I had to read. So, always life is based on perception. Another way of life is there where life can be based on expression. That is the pure self-expression. That's what Patanjali calls as pratyahara. When you are aligning life to the source of expression itself. See, we all come from that source, that common source. We all have that divine energy within us, which is reason for all happening, which is reason for all manifestation. Every manifestation, every happening, every doing is in you. That divine self. So when such is the truth, and to what extent I do, that should be a free choice. Free choice in the sense a conscious choice, because consciousness is always free. It has not influenced by the negative of the past or future. So being able to align to that state of inner freedom, when you are beginning to look at life, then what you are doing, for what you are doing it. See, what you are doing, for what you are doing it. What you are doing, whether to construct a house, whether to buy a cloth, whether just to release some holdings from you, or to fulfill some wants of you, one or the other reasons will be there about what you are doing. So now what you are doing, once you are in the yogic path, once you are in knowing the self, go on aligning that for the purpose of life. So you have to understand, what is the purpose of life? Purpose of life is not to construct a building. Purpose of life is not to end up only doing some materialistic things. Because such people will come and go in millions, and also whatever you do, that will also pass. You may construct the most beautiful palace, it will not stay forever. Even if you take a round in this creation, how many palaces you see, it is destroyed. When they were constructing that palace, they put all their energy into it. They thought it will be forever, but nothing stays forever. So in such a way, you should look at the creation, whatever I am doing, for what meaning I am aligning it. Some people, they want to escape from life. See the irony of life. They want to escape from life, that's why they are doing continuously. If they are still, they begin to face life. So they are not ready to face life. Because when you begin to face life, you feel bored. When you begin to face life, you feel fear. You feel lost. You feel there is no meaning. Because the way you are trying to look at life, always filled with what is not you. Always it's filled with matter. always it's filled with outside influence. Always your life is based on perception. See, if life can be based on perception, why the same life cannot be based on expression? So once you understand this, then you will know the true meaning of life. Once you know the true meaning of life, as per that, you will be aligning your life. That's how you can express organized approach of doing in life. See, this whole life, one basic simple thing what we need to understand is life is not holding anything, life is coexisting with everything. Life is not a particularity, life is all inclusive everything.
कर्मण्ये वाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भो मा ते संयोत्स्व कर्मणि उत्तरेदात्मनात्मानम् नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुरामैव रिपुरात्मनः प्राणच्छेदम् वशे सर्वम् त्रिदिवे यत् प्रतिष्ठितम् मातेव पुत्रान् रक्षस्व श्रेष्ठ प्रज्ञांश्च विदेहि नहेते त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मोक्ष्य Mamrita Satsangatve Nisangatvam Nisangatve Nirmohatvam Nirmohatve Nishchalatatvam Nishchalatatve Jivan Mukti. सर्वे जनो सुखिनो भवन्तु, लोका समस्त सुखिनो भवन्तु.